structural reasons why we are not able to realize that commonality. And those structural reasons are racism and xenophobia, homophobia and transphobia. There are real reasons why we don't see that we're all in this together. And perhaps even more importantly, we don't see the real power that we have. You know, we talk about the 99% movement and the 1% movement. Here's the deal. Here's the good news. Here's why labor's a good bet, right? Why the queer movement's a good bet. And if we work together, we're an even better bet. It's because the vast majority of Americans, right, the vast majority of folks in this country, if we woke up tomorrow and we said, we're going to do it differently. We want to live in a society that reflects dignity for every human being, equality for every human being. If we just decided that and insisted on that with the power we already have, everything would change, right? And you got to believe that that is terrifying to that 1% of white, uber-wealthy, able-bodied, straight folks that want to keep things the same. So I'm pleased that they're terrified. I'm saddened that we're divided. And I want to figure out how we do it better and how we do it differently. And that's what the union movement is about. At its core, the union is nothing more than a place where we come together and we aggregate that collective power, where we unlearn those BS lies of the right wing, that we are different and that we are not in the same boat, and we learn that we're not powerless and instead we're incredibly powerful. That's really what the union movement is about. It's certainly about common enemies, like what we talked about earlier with the names the moderator mentioned. It's certainly about common interests. But even more than that, we share values. We share the same concept of the type of society that we want to live in. And we have the power to create that society if only we can work with those other issues. And, you know, I know folks talked about immigration this morning, and we're focusing on the union movement, but this same reality, this same construct is true for the immigration rights movement, for the disability rights movement, for so many of these progressive movements and allies. So I share all that because I like to talk about myself, but also because I want to talk about the importance of the LGBTQ press, of all of you, more aggressively covering labor issues. Really, I want to ask that you consider this. And, you know, I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. I'm going to wrap because I think we've got a lot of time for questions, but if you don't remember anything else that I say, it's not so much that, yes, we spent on the marriage fights, millions, SEIU and the AFSCME, CWA, many labor unions. We spent millions of dollars on these most recent round of fights for same-sex marriage. In Maryland, for example, a place where we won marriage where 25% of the community is Catholic, 25% is African American. We're below the Mason-Dixon line. Labor was a decisive part of that victory. We've been organizing in those communities, which we represent through our membership for years leading up to this fight. It's not just that I think we're at the forefront of the transgender health care fight. It's not just that, from HIV to domestic partnerships to trans healthcare, SEIU has been an ally. It's not just that we're good on the issues, right? It's why we're good on the issues that I want to impress upon you and ask for your help with. We're good on the issues because we believe in this common value of equality. Because we in this room, all of us, we have the same interests and the same vision. So, getting back to you, because you, like me, probably like to hear about yourselves, I want to ask you to consider more aggressively covering the labor movement. It's 3 reasons. First, I want to argue because labor issues are queer issues and queer issues are labor issues, and I want to argue that that's not a matter of ideology or partisanship. It's the facts. It's the truth. It's what comes out on the other side of rigorous analysis. 2, because the possibility and the pace at which we can achieve a society that reflects dignity for every person, that reflects equality, depends on, in no small part, people in our community's ability to see those connections. People like my white working class family that has been convinced of the lie that they got nothing in common with our neighbors that are from Southeast Asia, and they certainly don't have anything in common with the queer community. So we've got to be able to help people see those connections. And the only way people can see those connections and to learn that truth, someone's got to tell the story. And I hear that the people in this room spend a lot of your time telling stories. And it sounds like a simple truth, but Marshall Gans is the guy I got to take some classes from. He's an amazing professor at Kennedy School at Harvard. And he says, if you don't tell the story, it's as if it never happens. And I think nowhere is that more true than in this collective struggle and in this collective fight.